All right, welcome to the FAMS challenge video. Decided against streaming live mostly because playing FAMS online is very time intensive, so I don't really want to do that. And I can still provide with like full value of commentary by recording my matches. So yeah, that's me holding myself accountable to making more content on FAMS. So on the draw, having Chancer is kind of like mulliganing, or like not really like mulliganing, but you're gonna discard to hand size, so it's like undoing the divination. And I do think that FAMs can mulligan very aggressively. So I think in an unknown matchup, I don't know what Spike U is playing, you can always check your opponent's history if you're playing online, and I would encourage you to do so. It's mostly Wildfire and Elves. I think I'm gonna mulligan this hand. This is obviously a no-lander that I'll mulligan as well. And this is by far the best hand I've had. Gonna keep. Here you probably want to bottom a land and either prohibit or one of the cantrips. I think I'm gonna bottom plains and prohibit. My reasoning is that, especially on the draw, and especially with like a 5-card hand that has familiar, I mostly want to prioritize developing my own board rather than like trying to interact with my opponent. And that's a very nice set of cards. We got plains for familiar. Hopefully we're not gonna get pawns at turn 2. That would suck tremendously. Is this... Abundant Grove is not a very Ponza land. Is it some sort of Enchantress deck that I haven't seen before? Maybe like weird version of Bogles even. Maybe it's like Ancestral Mask. No, I don't know what's happening, but sometimes it is what it is. Snap is a great top deck to slow down my opponent. This turn I want to develop Chancery, so I will... It's always very tempting to discard something of value to attachments, but here I don't think that you really want to do that. I think you rather discard an island, because casting both halves of analysis will likely be important. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually just gonna play Chancery, get back a plains and pass without doing anything else. I don't think that's Ponza. Like, Abundant Grove makes no sense in Ponza. Also, Spike U had played a deck tagged as white, red, green, which is exactly this deck. So it's like big Bogles, basically. Like Ancestral Masks and big monsters. There's Nardit, Hydra, Chrysalis. This deck seems like it's very bad against Snap. I know that my lighting is a bit dark. I'm gonna try to fix it between the rounds, because my control panel kinda broke, so I have to wait until the round is over to fix it. Here I'll discard. I think a plains. Okay, so here I can Mulldrifter for free essentially by playing Mulldrifter and snapping it, getting 2 lives with Faithful, or I can bounce something, or I can even just play Faithful. Playing Faithful and simply passing is a bit too weak. Problem with committing to snap on my own creature is that I can get out-tempoed a bit too easy. So I think I'm actually gonna play Faithful. I'm definitely playing Faithful this turn. If I snap, I go up to 5 mana this turn and getting rid of potentially possibly Narlid. 5 mana is 2 halves of analysis. Sounds okay. Or I can just develop a Mulldrifter, which also seems fine. Because it is an additional blocker. And now I'm not really that concerned about just throwing my Mulldrifter under the Chrysalis bus. So I'm taking 7 damage this turn. Yeah, snap was what I needed to find. So now I'll cast... Actually, because it is kind of interesting. Like if I cast Familiar, then I can only snap on my turn, which isn't ideal. So what happens if I cast Mulldrifter and hold up snap? I go up to 11, then I block the biggest Chrysalis. Or I snap the biggest Chrysalis, block the smaller one, take... Because the problem with snapping on my turn is if they have a trample equipment or trample aura. But maybe I can't play around it because I think I have to develop farm this turn. I think I just have to. I think I'm just gonna analysis first. And if I don't draw anything, I can... Ooh, that's pretty okay. So now I'm basically hoping that they don't have a trample enchantment of sorts. If they don't have a trample aura on this turn, I'm just not dying. And that's not trample, but I can't block it, so it is almost like trample. So that's unfortunate. Don't think I could really play around it all that much. Stonehorn is definitely nice. So is Thraben Charm. Mystic is good against most things. How many trample auras do they have? They only have armadillo cloaks. So champ blockers are okay. And remove soul seems kinda good. Those cards seems okay. Prismatic Strands are kinda iffy because they don't really do anything about against Chrysalis. I guess they also have Hydra for trample. So Mystic is actually not that great. Negate sounds less than ideal. So does Prohibit. Prohibit actually does very, very little. And Fateful isn't great. Because they just deal large chunks of damage to you. Negate's okay. So is Analysis, I think. I think I'd rather have Negate actually. Because it stops all of their interaction and their trample auras, which is like the most problematic thing. That is an okay keep. It's not a great hand by any means, but it's not terrible either. Here I'll go for an island because I want to preordain on my second turn before playing the Chancery. I'm gonna go over the deck list after the first match is done. Here I'm kinda getting punished for grabbing island over planes because I can't double spell on two, but at the same time I'd rather have access to double blue than to double spell on two most of the time. I hope it's not mask on next turn. If they don't have mask, it's probably okay. There's 2 ethereal armor. Maybe they can't cast armor this turn. Okay, they can't cast armor this turn, which is nice. Less nice is that I can die next turn. I hope doesn't happen. Or I draw snap. Relic is kinda annoying, but I have 2 ephemerate already. It makes it like somewhat possible for me to play around it. Okay, I think here you just have to go for Maldrifter. And I think you have to ephemerate. I've hit a land, which is nice. And I'm gonna discard one of the Faithfuls probably. Okay, so let's hope we don't die this turn. They only have 1 white so far. Okay, they have all the white mana. It looks like Chrysalis. Okay, I haven't seen this card in my life. Not a single time. Okay. That's fine. I will abandon attachments, discarding. I think like one of the Archaeomancers. I just really need to find snap this turn. If I find snap in my top like 4-ish cards, I think the game is over. If I don't find the snap, well, to be frank, I think the game is over, but in the opposite direction. I can also find the Rhino. Rhino also does it. Okay. I think this is my best line. It's trying to find snap or negate, I guess, to slow down there. Okay, there is the snap. So yeah, I think the game is probably over. Just going based. No, I didn't want to cast this preordain. I misclicked it. But I don't think that's gonna end up mattering, this one blue mana. So I'm just going based on vibes here. I have a lot of mana, so I don't have to be super tight with all my sequencing, even though probably shouldn't tell you this. Because, you know, it's important to sequence your plays well. Here I think I want snap for later. For my security rather than this ephemerate, even though usually you go for an ephemerate. You can consider cycling Glorian here to just thin your deck. The mana you have, I'm gonna discard one of the lands, and yeah, I think the game is more or less over. Might take a few turns, but they are not really getting anywhere. I also should have let that Rhino resolve, I think, because now I'm probably losing my remove soul forever. Not that it matters all that much, but I think it might have been better to just let it go. And here I'm just going through the motions, tapping myself out of ephemerate for no real reason, but also I don't think that I really need to have ephemerate at the ready. And I think being like mana efficient and mostly clock efficient. I think if you are playing online, you can do semi-random plays after a certain point. Because it's more important to win in time than it is to make the best play possible every single time. Okay, I have a lot of creatures, so I snap this. I charm this. Then I Lorien. And I'll attack with this. Sure. Sure. Here I'm gradually gonna kill all the important creatures. And I'm probably gonna talk a bit less for the remainder of this game, mostly because it's kind of over. And farms, especially online, because in paper people won't really try to time you out because it doesn't serve any purpose for them. But online there is like an actual gain from doing that. Because people tend to do that online. Like a lot of your games will boil down to this like mundane clicking and going through the motions. I'm now looking for just Muldrifters to put a bit more pressure, but my opponent was gracious enough to concede, which is nice. If you're pressed on time in game 3, you can consider putting one Mystic in, but I don't think it's that necessary. And it's pretty bad against most of their creatures. It's bad against Trample, it's bad against Gnarly Evasion. So yeah, I'm just gonna submit. Same 60, that's a pretty good hand. They don't really interact with you that much. Their biggest interaction is Relic of Progenitus. And this hand is pretty good at playing around Relic. You just play turn 2 farm. Maybe even turn 3 farm as well. And then you just start firing on all cylinders, depending on what the top of your deck gives you. Yeah, Narlit, you get an island, or plains rather. Then you play Familiar. They are getting Ancestral Mask. Land is the best land in my deck. It's obviously a very good top deck. So here you can do a couple things. You can try to get sneaky with Snap. But also you can just cast Snap on Narlit to slow them down, because it's 2 mana, then you untap to 5 mana, -1 for this is 4 mana. It's 4 mana, play Familiar, pass the turn with Negate up, and from next turns you just start. Yeah, I think I like it. You just bounce the Narlit. You can even play Familiar for 2 and evoke 1 Muldrifter to like dig deeper into your deck. You're probably not gonna need the clock from them, or from this one specifically. Especially since like if they Chrysalis you, then Muldrifter can't really attack and the body is unreliable. Yeah, Gnarly doesn't do much here. My turn will just be kinda am tempted to play planes before. Yeah, I think I'm gonna play Fateful and evoke Muldrifter to see what I'm drawing. Just want to be mana efficient here, I think. If I find Ephemerate, I can get much deeper into my deck, and I think it's worth doing that. It also creates a blocker potentially for maybe not the very next turn, but the turn after. And here I'm virtually at 19 life with this negate. And I know that they have Ancestral Mask. If they have double mask, don't think double mask is enough. I'm still gonna counter the first one. Also because this means that I don't have to block this. That might punish me if they cast Relic. I don't think Relic is like super problematic for me now. Here I'll just draw all the important pieces, and that's already a lock, so I'll snap the Narlet. Oh, they are untapping Forest in response. I didn't know what was happening. I am gonna counter this. Still have my land drop, so I'm gonna cast Archaeomancer, get back Ephemerate. And I think I just Ephemerate here onto negate, so they can't cheese me with Relic. And I can just cycle one of these because I'm not gonna need all of those Lorians. And once the game is over, and now I'll just have to click through fast enough in order to actually close out the game, but I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I have enough time. I just have to snap the Chrysalis repeatedly every single turn. Them making more tokens doesn't really matter. And with these two Muldrifters, I'll be able to finish the game in a relatively short order. But yeah, as you can see, I have 10 minutes on. My opponent has 10 minutes over me, almost 10 minutes. And definitely playing with the commentary makes it slower. That's no doubt about it in my mind. So that's why I'm not live streaming farms really, because it takes way too much time. Fuck, I didn't meant to click through, because it stops the combat and then I have this automatism that I'm just passing through, even though I shouldn't do that. Now in the upkeep, I will remember to not just pass priority. What's this? Hydra? Is it Bestow or is it just a hard cast? It's Bestow, so I can counter, which is nice. Then I snap this or ephemerate this. Ephemerate this. Get back this. Hardcast Muldrifter. Preordain. Not really looking for anything specific. You might as well just pass the turn, I guess. It's like me just fumbling around, trying to like squeeze a bit of extra value. And starting from next turn, I will just start attacking my opponent. I should probably... They have one more combat skip, so I should do that and get back negate. Sure. Just a creature, it's okay. And step I'll cast attachments. Discard Lorien, I guess. Doesn't really matter what I discard. To be frank, my plays just kinda don't matter at this point. The only thing I need to avoid is timing out, which I think I'm gonna be able to do. Second Archaeo is nice, but it's not needed. I'm gonna keep it on top. Mostly because it's like a free snap. And it's not a loop yet. So I'm just gonna snap away the Hydra. In hindsight, I should have probably... I'm not gonna bother like floating mana from Chanceries because I have basically infinite white mana on this turn anyways. Muldrifter is nice, Remove Soul is also nice. So I'm just gonna play this. Attack these. I am gonna ephemerate the one that they gnarled. I'm gonna counter the Chrysalis because it's more annoying to bounce than the Hydra. And then I'll let them resolve the Hydra and I'll just snap it. I know their last card is Hydra, so I'll just F6. As I don't think they are... I don't think they are bestowing. The only reason to bestow is to like be kinda scummy about me F6ing with a known negate. And the only reason they would do that is to like mess around with my clock. I should have... I'll Mortuary Mire one of the Muldrifters, yes. And I should have just attacked, to be frank. Keep pushing damage through. But also, as I've said, 4 minutes on the clock is more than enough for me to finish this game. In so-called regulation time. Oh, I forgot about the third farm that I played last turn. Honestly, I know the top card of my opponent's deck, so yeah, I can just do that. And I can just snap this to make the clock faster. because there is 0 chance that I'm dying. Even if there are 2 unknown cards or like 2 masks, I'm not dying to that. Sure. So as you can see, there was like a good deal of suboptimal play on my part after I already effectively won the game. And I think it's important to like not, well, maybe not click random buttons, but don't dwell on every single play you have once you have a log, because it just, when you are playing online at the very least, I think in paper you can be fairly ponderous with your plays up until the very end. All these cards attack SPKU. And I think the game is over. Yep. That resolves. Get this back. And the match is won. Okay, so I'm gonna be right back to talk a bit about the deck, but first I want to fix the lightning.